Burkina Faso's youth react to ECOWAS withdrawal, freedom, or uncertainty. Burkina Faso, a land of resilience, revolution, and rising youth voices. Once bound to ECOWAS by economic ties and political alliances, now forging a new path in the wake of a dramatic withdrawal. But what does this departure mean for the future of its people, especially its youth? Is this the first step toward national freedom or the beginning of a dangerous descent into isolation and uncertainty? In this video, we dive deep into the hearts and minds of Burkina Faso's next generation to uncover their hopes, their fears, and their fierce determination in the face of an uncertain future. Fall or flight. This is Burkina Faso's youth react to ECOWAS withdrawal, freedom, or uncertainty. The sun blazes over Ouagadougou, Burkina Faso's bustling capital, where the air hums with tension and hope. On January 29, 2025, the nation, alongside Mali and Niger, officially severed ties with the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS, a regional bloc that has shaped West Africa for nearly half a century. The streets of Burkina Faso pulse with raw emotion. Thousands of young voices chant for freedom, for sovereignty, for a future they can claim as their own. But beneath the fervor, a shadow looms: uncertainty. For Burkina Faso's youth, this historic withdrawal is a double-edged sword, slicing through the chains of the past while thrusting them into an uncharted tomorrow. Many see it as a bold stand against external influence, a chance to redefine their nation's destiny. Yet, others fear isolation, economic instability, and weakened regional alliances. Markets buzz with debates. Will this spark self-reliance or deepen struggles? Youth, the heartbeat of this movement, grapples with pride and doubt, their dreams tethered to a nation at a crossroads. A cry for freedom. In Ouagadougou's Nation Square, the heart of the capital, the scene is electric. Thousands gather, their fists raised, their voices roaring. Among them is Amina, a 22-year-old student with fire in her eyes. ECOWAS was a leash, she says, her words sharp. It tied us to foreign powers, to France, to Nigeria. We're done being puppets. Her sentiment echoes the rally's pulse, where young Burkinabè, led by figures like Prime Minister Rimtalba, Jean-Emmanuel Ouedraogo, celebrate the withdrawal as a bold step toward independence. To cut the cord of imperialism, this will not be done by the tender hands of a midwife, but by an axe, Ouedraogo declared, his words igniting cheers. For Amina and her peers, the withdrawal is more than politics, it's personal. Burkina Faso, ruled by a military junta since Captain Ibrahim Traoré's 2022 coup, has been a battleground of ideals. The youth, who make up over 60% of the country's 20 million people, have grown weary of promises unkept. They see ECOWAS as a symbol of the old guard, a bloc that imposed sanctions after the coup, strangling their economy and deepening their struggles. Sanctions hurt us, not the leaders, says Issouf, a 19-year-old mechanic, wiping sweat from his brow. Food prices shot up. My family couldn't eat. ECOWAS didn't care. The junta's decision to form the Alliance of Sahel States, AES, with Mali and Niger, feels like a rebellion to these young hearts. It's a new pact, one they believe will prioritize their security and sovereignty over foreign interests. The AES promises visa-free travel and a joint force to combat the extremist violence that has killed over 3,470 people in the region in just 6 months. For young Burkinabè, this is a chance to rewrite their story, to stand tall against the insurgents who have displaced 2.6 million and ravaged their homeland. The weight of uncertainty. But not every voice in the crowd sings of victory. In the quieter corners of Ouagadougou's markets, where vendors haggle over dwindling goods, doubt festers. Fatou, a 25-year-old mother of two, clutches her baby as she speaks. Freedom sounds nice, but what does it mean for us? She asks, her voice trembling. Will there be jobs? Will food be cheaper? Or are we just trading one problem for another? Her fear is shared by many who wonder if the AES can deliver where ECOWAS fell short. The withdrawal has already sent ripples through Burkina Faso's fragile economy. The nation, one of the world's poorest, relies heavily on trade with ECOWAS neighbors like Côte d'Ivoire and Nigeria. The bloc's free movement protocol allowed over 1.3 million Burkinabè to live and work in Côte d'Ivoire, sending money home to families like Fatou's. Now, with the AES introducing its own travel documents, the future of these migrants hangs in the balance. "My brother works in Abidjan," Fatou says. "If he can't send money, how will we survive?" Food security, already a crisis, could worsen. Burkina Faso imports much of its electricity from Côte d'Ivoire and Nigeria, and cross-border trade has been a lifeline. The AES's new 0.5% levy on imported goods, meant to fund the alliance, might drive prices higher, hitting the poor hardest. A daily nutritious diet here costs 110% more than the region's minimum wage, warns a recent report. For Fatou, who struggles to feed her children, the withdrawal feels like a gamble with their lives. A generation at a crossroads. Burkina Faso's youth stand at a crossroads torn between the thrill of defiance and the fear of collapse. The junta, led by the charismatic Traoré, has won hearts with its anti-imperialist rhetoric. At 36, Traoré is one of Africa's youngest leaders, a symbol of the youth's hunger for change. His promise to end neo-colonial exploitation resonates with a generation that feels cheated by decades of foreign influence. Russia's growing presence, with pledges of military support, adds fuel to this fire as young Burkinabè see it as a counterweight to Western dominance. Yet the junta's grip on power raises red flags. Human rights have deteriorated since the 2022 coup, with crackdowns on media and dissenters. The promise of elections remains vague, leaving some youth questioning if they've traded one form of control for another. "I want freedom, but not at the cost of my voice," says Kofi, a 20-year-old artist who paints murals of protest in Ouagadougou's backstreets. "If the junta silences us, what's the point?" Security remains the biggest test. The Sahel's extremist insurgency, tied to Al-Qaeda and other extremist groups, shows no signs of slowing. The AES's joint force is a bold idea, but its success is unproven. ECOWAS, despite its flaws, offered a framework for regional cooperation against terrorism. Without it, Burkina Faso risks isolation, especially as the bloc relocates its institutions and suspends programs in the country. "We need help to fight the insurgents," says Musa, a 23-year-old farmer displaced by violence. "If AES fails, my village is done." The world watches, the youth decide. As the dust settles on Burkina Faso's exit, the world watches a nation in flux. ECOWAS, now down to 12 members, insists its doors remain open, urging the trio to maintain trade and movement privileges. But the AES's defiance, backed by rallies in Niger and Burkina Faso, suggests a deeper rift. For the youth, this is a moment of truth, a chance to shape a future free from the shadows of colonialism and conflict, or a plunge into chaos. Amina, Issouf, Fatou, Kofi, and Musa represent a generation caught in the storm. They are the dreamers and the doubters, the fighters and the fearful. Their voices, loud and soft, will decide whether Burkina Faso's gamble brings liberation or loss. In Ouagadougou's streets, the chants of freedom still ring, but the question lingers: at what cost? For now, the youth of Burkina Faso march forward, their hearts alight with hope, their minds clouded by doubt. The road ahead is treacherous, but they walk it together, carrying the weight of a nation's dreams and fears. Whether they find freedom or stumble into uncertainty, one thing is clear: their story is only beginning. As Burkina Faso steps into the unknown, its youth stand at a crossroads between inherited instability and imagined independence. They are the heartbeat of a nation redefining itself, not just as a country in West Africa, but as a symbol of possibility or peril. Their voices echo louder than bullets. Their dreams stretch farther than borders. And their future is being written right now. What do you think lies ahead for Burkina Faso? Freedom or uncertainty? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more deep dives into the world's turning points.